Hey y'all. So I had an idea earlier today that I wanted to pitch to you. I remember when I made that first video, I had talked about trying to just kind of sit with your distress, the thoughts and feelings that cause you trouble, and kind of just letting them be, and even having some kindness toward yourself for feeling that way and thinking those things. And although the point of the video was that you're not crazy, right? It's kind of what I was saying. You might have thought that that idea was crazy. Like, seriously, Mike, how am I supposed to do that? So I had this idea of a way of thinking about what your mind's trying to do. Because, what do we typically think, right? When we're feeling really upset, when our mind is kind of throwing this anxiety-provoking stuff at us, we tend to have like a really adversarial kind of mindset toward that, right? We tend to think of our mind as the enemy. It's causing us all these troubles. Why can't it just stop? What ridiculous thoughts, I shouldn't be feeling that way. That's so dumb, all this kind of stuff, right? So I wanted to pitch another way of thinking of this at you, and just kind of think about, why does our mind do this in the first place? Is it really literally just trying to torture us, or is there maybe another reason? And so my idea was this: if you can think back, I bet at some point in your life, probably as a little kid, you were doing something probably pretty dangerous where you could really hurt yourself, or maybe you even did hurt yourself, but it could have been a lot worse. And think about how, mom or grandpa or whoever it was that was your caretaker, how they reacted. I feel like most of us can think of a time where there was something like this, and our caretaker, our guardian, reacted pretty intensely, right? Maybe even like angry, maybe even kind of yelling at us, really critical. Maybe that's all there is to it, but I'd like to hope for you that maybe there were different thoughts and feelings going on in that person's head, right? That probably they were doing that because they were so afraid of what might have happened to you, because why? Why would they feel that way? Because they care so much, because they loved you, and the thought of something happening to you was like that devastating to them. What if that's what our mind is doing too? What if it throws all these worries and stresses and even these criticisms at us from a place of caring, not carrying, and worrying? Even something really intense like, nobody loves you, okay? What if instead of that being like a statement of fact, which I think is what most of us kind of treat it as when we have thoughts like that, what if instead that's your mind really worried that that might be true or become true? What if it's really more saying, hey, is this something that's true? Is this something that we need to think about? Is it something that's real? And it's putting that before you to kind of consider and decide, but we don't get an instruction book on our brain, so we don't know that, and we just tend to take it at its word and assume it knows what it's talking about and react accordingly. So I don't know, what if it is really coming from a place of concern, of caring, because that is our brain's job, right? Ultimately, it's to keep us alive, keep us well, to care what we care about. So it just got me thinking, what if when we have this stuff going through our heads, if we could try to shift our mindset a little bit, recognize that maybe that's what our mind is doing, even though it's unpleasant to consider the things it's putting before us. What if it's doing it because it cares, would that change how we kind of respond and how we react to that stuff? And would that change actually be helpful? Maybe instead of feeling like your mind's the enemy and fighting against your mind, trying to force away these thoughts and feelings that you don't like, that you're afraid might be true, but are trying to convince yourself they're not. What if we could kind of come at this from more of a place of, wow, mind, like, thank you so much for worrying about this. Like, if this were true, this would be a really valid concern. Thanks for looking out for me. And I think I got this. I think maybe that makes sense. You'd worry about that, but probably I'm going to be okay. I don't know. Maybe mess around with that. See what comes out of it, and just see if it reduces the struggle a little bit. See if it helps you to kind of sit with what's going on there, see where it's coming from, and just kind of shifts that whole kind of fighting kind of mindset. Okay, that's all. Let me know what you think of these. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas for something you'd like us to talk about, please don't hesitate to let us know. All right, have a good one.
This is an informational video that is not intended to replace professional treatment for specific mental health problems or symptoms. If you're having thoughts about harming yourself or others, call your therapist or doctor right now. You can find contact information and call your nearest HSO location to schedule an appointment at www.healthsourceofohio.org/locations. You can also talk to someone now by calling the suicide hotline at 1-800-273-8255.